Hello, everyone. Welcome back to News by Muse. I'm Hannah Fletcher, and joining me, I have Filippo and I have Eric from a stellar film, by the way, you guys. I love this film so much. My Last Best Friend. I'm so excited to be able to speak with you guys today. I have so many questions, so let's get into it. Filippo, I kind of want to kick it off with you. Given that you kind of created this whole movie, talk to me about what your process looked like coming up with the characters and this script. And obviously COVID had a role in it, and we'll get to that here in a moment. But talk to me about your initial process, and then even when you started to bring Eric into the process, and then Eric, you can speak to that, piggybacking off of him.
Well, thank you for having me, by the way, Hannah. The whole process started when I wrote the screenplay in 2020, when the COVID pandemic came along. I had the first idea in 2019. I had a general idea, but I already knew that one of the two characters in the movie would be struggling with health issues. Eventually became COVID. I worked into the script. And I wrote the screenplay, and I waited for the pandemic. It was still going on, but for the times to get a little better, safer. And then eventually I contacted Eric's agent, and we took it from there. But to tell you the honest truth, I already had Eric in mind as I was writing the screenplay. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his.
I love that. And then Eric, what was it like when he came to you, and obviously he got in contact with your agent? What was that like, finding out that he was wanting to work with you on a project such as this? What is it that really pulled at your heartstrings to join on into that?
I don't have any heartstrings when it comes to making a decision. I make a decision based on absolute selfishness. And I read this script and I thought, when am I going to be offered to play two guys at the same time having a conversation with each other again? Never. I'm going to go for this one. So I just, as a challenge, I went for it. And he ended up being a really good leader for me, and took good care of me as an actor. And we made a real movie. And it's a job I will always hold dear to my heart. I really love this job, and I love this movie, and I love these guys that I played. They're both very different. One's asinine and one's almost asinine, but they're both not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to ask you, and you can speak to this on any level that you wish, but
me?
Yes,
Okay.
you. Now, coming into this process, what I found very fascinating when I was watching the film is I was thinking to myself about all of the films that I've seen that are talking about different historical periods. Like COVID is it's already down in history. It's going to go down in history. Now, what's really unique about this experience is obviously we lived through COVID. You're here. Most people don't have the opportunity to make a film about something involving the Civil War. You know, you didn't live through the Civil War. In this case, you lived through this. So coming into this process, what was it like to incorporate the actual reality of the fact that you lived through this time period? How did that affect you as an actor, as a producer? How did you bring that process into this experience? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Talk to me about that.
Okay, before Filippo overlaps COVID with the movie, I want to say something about COVID. Mm-hmm. In 1919, we had the same thing. They wore masks and it got calm. Then they took masks off. Everybody got sick again because they took them off too soon. Same thing happened 100 years later. We don't pay attention. We could have cut this in half, even more, in a third, had we just kept our masks on for 6 months every day. It would have been over in 6 months. Instead, it took 3 years. And so that's what I have to say about the pandemic. Okay, now back to the movie.
Yes. How did living through this come into your movie process and bringing that in? Was it easier maybe having been through the pandemic, or was it maybe more on the trickier side of things because there's so much obvious passion that surrounds this whole pandemic and how everything went down?
Eric, should I go?
Whoever would like.
It made it so hard for Filippo, but tell him why, Filippo.
It was challenging, that's for sure. And first and foremost, we had to make sure to have a safe set. As a matter of fact, we got tested. We had the, I'm not sure what it's called, the binary test, basically, that can also only tell you if you're positive or negative. And once actually a crew member tested positive, so he had to go and get tested further. And it turns out that he didn't have COVID. He had it a month prior, so he still had the antibodies. So yeah, we wanted to keep it safe. It was surreal to shoot things that we know that were like actual real life drama. I mean, people were still dying. And the real crazy thing was thinking about what was going to happen next. When this movie will be watched 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, there are some shots that could only have been achieved in that period of time. The opening credits shot, which was filmed by our co-cinematographer and producer, Blagaditro, she crossed with her little camera 4 avenues of Manhattan, and there was nobody there. And it was said 8 a.m. It's a period of time. It's a surreal, really. It's a surreal experience.
For certain. Now, talk to me, Filippo. I am so fascinated, and I don't want to give anything away here, but with the Walters, and that just got me, obviously. And Eric, you did a phenomenal job with that, and it's so fun as an actor to push pull with the differences and the little ticks and tendencies and everything like that. You did a beautiful job at executing that. Talk to me about the Walters and Filippo, how did you come up with this concept? I think it's brilliant. I know I loved it very much from a viewer's point of view, but talk to me about where the Walters came from for you and how this all came out.
I think the asinine, more boy-like Walter, the one who was a former homeless man, is definitely a mixture of several characters from many movies. Some of them might even be like stoner comedies that, like, honestly, like, I want it to be funny somehow, like when he delivers the line, hey, Miles died 3 days ago, so unless it's Jesus, he ain't coming back. I wanted him to be genuinely funny here and there. But quite frankly, the main idea was the odd couple, the relationship between Walter Matthau's character and Jack Lemmon's character. One is funnier, the other one is more reserved and a more serious person, if you will. But in the end, it's just a joyful experience to see them interact with one another. And the other one it's a little tougher to say where it comes from, because it was supposed to be a mysterious character, but I would say it comes from an Italian movie by Paolo Sorrentino called The Consequences of Love, 2004. That was the main inspiration for the other Walter, the quiet Walter.
I love that. Is very well put. I love how you phrased that with the quiet Walter. I love that. Very cool.
Thank you.
Well, I want to ask you, Eric, playing 2 different characters, very different in my opinion. What was that like, having the opportunity to step into those shoes? What did your process look like diving into that? I feel like that's an actor's kryptonite. It's a dream come true. It's double the load of work, but it is so rewarding and cathartic when you're able to see that play out on screen. What did your process look like diving into those 2 different men?
Well, I can't tell you about my process, because that's like talking about my sex life. It's very personal. But I tell you what, though, this was so much fun, because I had 2 complete characters who talked and acted differently. So I had to breathe differently. I had to breathe. One be very shallow, one didn't. I had to have a different pentameter in my speech, and I had to have a different physicality. Now, all that sounds technically doable, but it's technically very difficult to do consistently. And but I had a great leader. He helped, and whenever I would slide into something that wasn't quite right. Oh, Eric, back it up. Okay, thank you. Right. And we do it again. And that's how that works. And you have to have a teammate, because you can't see yourself. You can feel for yourself, but you can't see yourself. And this is very visual when you're playing 2 people who are not the same peeps.
Yes.
And, so it was difficult. And but after you're into the groove of like going back and forth, because we had to go back and forth in the same shooting scene. I had to play 2 guys the same night, the same hour, and so I would have to lean on him. Is it right, Filippo? And he would say, no, it's not.
I dare say so. The reason why I was smiling is that something came back to mind when I had to ask you to do a scene twice in a row because by mistake somebody moved a glass and it wasn't supposed to. So yeah, it was challenging. And at some point, you guys wonder whether or not we could figure it out technically without having to reshoot the first half of the scene. But I remember I told you, no, we have to, because otherwise it won't work. And I watch it now, and yeah, I guess I was right on that one. It's when he picks up the glasses. The other one drops the glass, the other one picks it up. You had to be meticulously scheduled. But yeah.
And we made this movie in 5 minutes. Don't forget, we made this movie.
Tight schedule, yeah.
Damn, we made a movie.
Yeah. Very tight schedule, yeah.
How long was your process with making this film from start to finish? How long basically did your timeline look like for shooting? What did that look like for you?
Well, at first it was, we had a precise schedule. It was 11 days with Eric plus 2 extra days. That makes it for 13 days all in. And we wrapped things up. I edited that part of the movie that it was, let's say, and that was 80-minute long. And then we decided to raise additional funds and film additional scenes, and we did that throughout 2021. So in 2021, we had to film a couple of scenes here and there, depending on everybody's availability, of course. So in the end, it was like 1 year from the beginning to the end of principal photography. But like I said, it was split in 2 parts, the real principal photography, and then made it for an 80-minute long feature film, and the additional scenes that took it to 1 hour and 45 minutes.
And cameras were rolling for 15 or 16 days.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I want to ask both of you from whoever's perspective would like to start first, Eric or Filippo, whoever's so inclined. What is it? Obviously, it's a huge part of making a film. You always want audiences to be able to walk away and to connect, resonate, speak about something thematically speaking in terms of the film, maybe connect with a character, an overarching theme. What is it that each of you gentlemen are looking that the audience is connecting with and talking about after seeing this film when it hits select theaters?
Okay, I have the quick answer, so I'll go first. Just entertainment, just fun to watch. I want people to enjoy coming to my movies. Go, wow, I love going to Eric's movies. That's all I want. I don't have to teach. I don't have to be a philosopher. I don't have to be Marlon Brando. I don't have to be Monty Clift. I just want to make you guys say, I love going to Eric Roberts movies. They're so much fun. That's what I'm after. And that's all I'm after. Even when I'm doing a heavy, depressing piece, I want you to be entertained by the understanding of what causes that depression. Yeah, it's just fun for me. It's a ball game.
I love that answer. All right, and Filippo?
I also would very much like for the audience to be entertained, first and foremost. I would like also, I don't know, if somebody after the movie does some thinking as to whether or not it was real friendship, the one that we saw for 1 hour and 45 minutes between these 2 men, because that's the whole point of the movie. The movie wants to analyze the concept of friendship by showing the audience the most unusual kind of friendship, the friendship between these 2 men with the same face and the same name, the same identity, and they live under the same roof. And of course, we cannot spoil it, but there is a reason for that, and one Walter is the caretaker of the other Walter. Nobody can deny that when they watch the movie. At first, it's is make sure that he follows his diet, that he doesn't exceed in alcohol consumption, and but at the same time, you wonder, is it completely a completely selfless kind of brotherly love or not? And that's what I would like the audience to come out with, to wonder about that, whether or not it was real friendship or not between the 2.
Well, I can tell you right now, you had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was watching it on my laptop, and I was like staring at my laptop, and I would have to pause it. And I went back a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure this puzzle out. But I love that. And I loved having that super interactive experience. So you accomplished it on my end.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I want to go ahead and open up the floor. I've also been made aware, Eric, that you're very passionate about a couple of projects. I know that you have an animal sanctuary, and I also know that you're very affiliated and passionate about this other organization as well. So I want to kind of give you the floor and the opportunity to be able to kind of speak to that as well, and give our audience a little bit of insight as to who you are on the humanitarian side of things as well.
Well, my favorite website on the planet is called naturalchild.org. It's thanks to Jan Hunt, and it is miraculous. If you read this, if you're sent to go read it, you'll go, what? Okay. And you'll kind of read it maybe. But when you're told what it is, you'll run to read it. It is the answer to every question anybody will ever have about being a parent to a child. And it is the most kind, informative, and specific book you'll ever get on this issue. And you will thank me later because it's perfect. There are no mistakes in this book. And I'm so proud to push it because it works. And it's also a website, naturalchild.org. And she's Jan Hunt. She's a genius. And go to Jan Hunt or Natural Child. You'll be very happy you did. And what else? Oh, yeah, we have a scroll sanctuary. You want to hear about our sanctuary? About 18 years ago, we had these 2 5-story trees in our front yard. They're huge. And about 18 years ago, I find a hurt squirrel, a little baby hurt squirrel, that hair on it and everything. And I take it to the squirrel doctor, and they fix it. And then they call me and they say, "Can we bring this squirrel back to your property?" I said, "Sure." And they come, they see all the trees. They go, "Oh my God, can we bring all the hurt squirrels here when they get well?" And I said, "Sure." Well, 300 squirrels later, we have a squirrel sanctuary, and we have these apartment buildings of squirrels. So much so that the city of LA gives us 100 pounds of walnuts every month to feed the squirrels. We're like registered as a squirrel sanctuary, and we have cats and dogs and horses and all kinds of stuff on our property.
That is so lovely. Also, side note, Eric, my favorite animal is a squirrel. I literally have a statue that sits over in the corner of I just love squirrels. That's so cute. I love that so much. And I love that you're able to have a sanctuary like that and to be able
I love you for that. Good girl.
Well, you guys are so wonderful. Wrapping it up here, I just want to kind of finish off. How excited are you guys to be able to have this film out in theaters for everybody to be able to see? Obviously, the biggest push after the pandemic has been getting people back to the theater and being able to have that experience before, obviously, it goes over to various platforms, streaming, cable, what have you. How excited are you both that this film is going to be in certain theaters for audiences to be able to see and react to?
Congratulations, Filippo. Talk about it.
I am ecstatic. I'm very excited about it. We're opening in Brooklyn this Friday, September 15th, and then LA on September 22nd. It got pushed by 2 days, but yeah. And eventually it's gonna hit the theaters in San Francisco, and this is hopefully just the beginning. Of course, it's going to be a theatrical, a limited theatrical run, but we are so happy about it. It's not something that you want to take for granted. And yes, after a couple of years of struggle for movie theaters, even after they reopened, the numbers were not that great. I figured that definitely not in 2021, and it's a blessing, really, to be able to put it out there. I feel very, very lucky about it.
We're like trying to get them to open Barbie with our movie, but they're not biting.
They will. A little bit of time, a little bit of coercing, right? We'll get there. Oh my goodness. Well, you guys are so wonderful, so talented. It's an honor to speak with you both. Congratulations.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, everybody, make sure that you guys go ahead and check out Eric and Filippo's film. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time.
Thank you for having us, Anna.
Yeah, of course.
Bye-bye.